Everybody say, thank God I'm free. Thank God I'm free. I have a question for you tonight. Have you ever felt stuck before? You ever felt stuck? You ever felt stuck in life? Stuck when it comes to a class? Stuck when it comes to a relationship? Whoa. Didn't you just get back together with them? Like, don't be feeling stuck already. Like, ain't crazy. It's crazy how we have all at some point in time felt stuck. Not just that I've lost, it's not just that I've been confused, I've been stuck. Grades have made me feel stuck. I've been stuck holding on to the words that other people have called me from my past. So I'm 30 years old and I might be but I'm still dealing with some insecurities of what people said to me when I was in middle school. 20 years ago, dealing with the words that people have said. Oh, and by the way, you don't have to say because you do it too. We just show it very differently. We're so boisterous and we're so loud and we're so eccentric, not because it's our personality, but because we're trying to make up for our insecurity. And others just hide in the back of the room because of our insecurity. We felt stuck before by words. Maybe you felt stuck by something that somebody else did that you had no control over. It wasn't a decision that you made. It's something that somebody did to you. Maybe you felt stuck by a decision you made, a mistake that you made, that everybody else has forgotten about it, but it's still living rent-free in your mind, and you're just playing it over and over and over again. Maybe you feel stuck because you've been scrolling on social media, and you're just stuck comparing your life to everybody else that you see on social media. Mind you, their life is the filtered version, and you're comparing it to your raw and real version and wondering how come it doesn't match up. We've all felt stuck before. Really what I want to talk to you about tonight is this idea of being stuck and then this idea of being free. How many of you like free stuff? You like free stuff? I have a phrase that I say, if it's free, it's for me. You say, hey, Pastor Caleb, when we gonna go get some food? You paying? If you paying, I'm there. Steak and Shake after this, Chick-fil-A, let's rock. I got a big order, I'm big bag, but we can go do that. If it's free, it's for me. I love me some free food. I love free. I love free samples. Anybody else, you walk the mall like 5 times just because you want them free chicken samples? Me too, you ratchet. Me too. I do it too. I used to love the free periods in school. Well, I didn't have no class. I didn't have gym. I didn't have none of that going on. It was just a free class. I just got to do whatever I wanted. So I went to my favorite teacher's room. They always had that snack drawer. Got that one teacher that always got that deep snack drawer that they just cool. They write you a pass wherever you need to go. I love the free periods. I love free trials. You ever done a free trial for like Netflix, a free trial for Hulu, free trial for Spotify, Apple Music? I like my free trials. I don't want to do too much commitment, so let me get it for free for a minute, and then let me back out. I like the idea of free. We use free a lot inside of culture, but real freedom isn't the absence of rules. Real freedom isn't the absence of standards. It's the presence of a new life. New life is really what brings you and I freedom, and that's what I want to talk about tonight. Not about you and I trying harder in life. It's not about you and I cleaning up ourselves before we walk inside or outside of a door. It's actually something that happens to you that changes what you and I are capable of. Here at The Blend, one of the things that we've been focusing heavy on is the difference between life transformation and behavior modification. Here's the difference. Behavior modification will tell you do better, but life transformation says become somebody brand new. 2 completely different outlooks. And tonight we're going to talk about this 4-word phrase, thank God I'm free. And we're going to look at this story in the Bible with this cat named Zacchaeus. I'm going to call him Zach. This cat named Zach, and how he was a bum, he was a scrub, he had some things rocking, but he wasn't living life as good as what he could. Had an encounter with Jesus, and it really brought about all this freedom that he was looking for. Zacchaeus, the Bible starts talking about him in Luke chapter 19. Luke chapter 19, one of the Gospels in the second half of the book, they're telling this story of Zacchaeus and Jesus's interaction. I want to read some scripture, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to put the verses up on the screen, and when you see words that are in a different color, I need you to read it out loud in your outside voice with me. Does that sound cool? Cool. Here we go. Let's get into it. Luke chapter 19, verses 1 through 4. Here's what the scripture says. Jesus entered Jericho and made his way through the town. There was a man there named Zacchaeus. He was the chief tax collector in the region, and he had become very rich. Anybody want to be very rich? I want to be. The Bible ain't say money's bad. It said the love of money. I want to be very rich. I'm gonna bless people. He tried to get a look at Jesus, but he was too short. I ain't never felt that before. To see over the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree beside the road, for Jesus was going to pass that way. Three things that we see about Zacchaeus before Jesus ever even shows up onto the scene. Number one, Zacchaeus is crooked. Zacchaeus is crooked. The scripture said that he was the chief tax collector. You got to imagine this. He was a Jew. He was a Hebrew, right? He was working for Rome, and he was charging people their taxes. But because he was the chief, he was the boss. So what he did, he added extra tax on top of it, his own wallet tax. So this is what you got to pay 10% to Caesar, to Rome. But I'm going to tell you, I'm actually charging you 30% because I need 20% to go to me, and then your 10% is going to go there. So he was scourging money from his own folk, the people he grew up with, the people he was in school with, the people that he was following on TikTok, the people that he was going to the Friday night football games with. He was gouging them from their own money. He got rich by taking more than what people owed and pocketing the difference. He thought of every relationship in this. What does this do for me? You ever have a person that it feels like the only reason why they're in a friendship with you is because it's not that they like you, it's just they like what you can do? Like you ever felt like you was that one friend that, how come everybody wants to do the class project with me? And it's because you're going to do the work? Or that one person, why they always want to sit by me while we in class? Oh, they want my answers. Oh, okay. How come they always being nice to me at the end of school? Oh, they need a ride. How can they be nice to me at lunch? Oh, they trying to get my food. That's exactly what he was doing. He found a way to bribe his way into whatever relationship that he wanted to get into. Zacchaeus, not only was he crooked, he was also lonely. See, people didn't just dislike tax collectors, they completely despised them. Despised them. To them, he was a traitor. He was the ops. He was completely in opposition of what they were trying to do and how they were trying to live inside of life. So nobody wanted to be around him. He was like the black sheep. Everybody would get away. When he walked in, he had the money. He had the power. He was the chief. He had the titles. He had it going on in that realm. But he was lonely from relationship because he abused relationships so much, nobody wanted to be around him. The chief tax collector meant that he was the most hated man inside of town. And then also, he was short. He wasn't 6'8" like me. He was short. That wasn't a joke. He was short. He was overlooked consistently by people, physically overlooked, but then also relationally. People went around him to get to someone else or something else. He could never see over a crowd, and the crowd wasn't doing anything in order to help him. Zach, he had the money, he had the power, he had the position, he had everything going on, and none of it made anyone want to be around him. Zach, according to cultural standards, he made it. He was doing good. He had the money. He had the fame. People knew his name. His name carried some weight. According to culture, he was rocking. But when it came to how he felt and when it came to how he lived, he felt empty. He felt hopeless. As rich as he was empty. The money could never fix the loneliness that he was feeling. The power could never fix the shame and the guilt that he had. And the status could never fix the ache of being the guy that nobody wanted to be around. That's who Zach is. Have you ever felt that way? It seems like I have everything together. If you look at me face value on social media, if you just see me walking the hallways, if you see me on my Snapchat, if you just see me, then it looks like everything is sweet. But man, you don't know what I'm dealing with at home. You don't know what my mentals are like. You don't know what my relationships are like. You say, yeah, I'll trade my life for yours, girl. Yeah, girl, I know, ain't it great? And inside, you just feel twisted, hoping that you don't just bust out crying. Because they don't know that one thing that you've been struggling with, that one conversation that you just had that about set you over the edge. That's where Zach was. Made it, but was completely empty. But there's a detail that's inside of this story that stands out to me, that Zacchaeus, he didn't wait for Jesus to come to him. In that scripture that we read, verse 4, it said this: so Zach ran ahead, meaning Jesus wasn't there yet. He ran ahead, he climbed up a tree because Jesus was going to pass by that way. He didn't just sit back and say, well, if Jesus wants me, what's meant to be is meant to be. Love Island's favorite phrase. What's meant to be is meant to be. If it's meant to be, it's gonna all work out. No, homie, sometimes it don't. Sometimes you gotta make it happen. You and I have no right to anything you don't put effort into. Fellas, you say you want that lady, put effort. If you don't put effort, stop saying you want her. Stop telling me you want good grades if you're not studying. No, you don't. Go get the good grades. I really wish I could make money. Then stop spending money. It's really simple. Zach, he was empty. He said, I really want to find some hope. I really want to find some freedom. What I'm doing, it's been working to them, but it hasn't been working for me. I need to find something different. He wasn't just talking it. He actually did something with it. Went and ran, then climbed up a tree, which would have been embarrassing inside of this culture. Bro, what are you doing? Everybody already knows who he is. He's a standout figure. Everybody's watching him, trying to see what's Zach got going on, all waiting for Jesus to come through. Before Jesus even said a word, Zach was on mission running towards him. The scripture continues in Luke 19, verses 5 through 7. It says this: when Jesus came by, he looked up, talking about Jesus, at Zach, and he called him by name. Zacchaeus, he said, quick, come down. I must be a guest in your home today. Jesus invited himself over to Zacchaeus' house. Y'all got that one friend that just invites themselves to your house because they want to eat all the food in your house, and they just be making a mess in your house. Then after they leave, you get in trouble because of the mess. I had that friend too. How many of you are that friend? You are that friend. Yeah, I feel that. Zacchaeus, come down. I need to be a guest inside of your home. Zacchaeus quickly climbed down and took Jesus to his house in great excitement and great joy. But the people, everybody say the people. The people were displeased. He has gone to be a guest of a notorious sinner, they grumbled. Think of this. Jesus played it like a Netflix movie. Jesus is walking through the street, downtown Moon Park. Looking, people everywhere. Everybody looking crazy. Everybody going out. Girls out there with their bonnets on and stuff. Now guys out there with their bonnets on too. Like, it's looking crazy. Edges kind of laid, partially up because it's humid. You know what I'm saying? Eyebrows are drawn in. Eyelashes about to fly away. Like, that's what Jesus is looking at. In the middle of all the people, Jesus happens to look up, and he sees Zacchaeus. And all these people from this entire city of Jericho, big city, was all around. And Jesus filtered through all of the people and all of the noise to find the one that was actually there to see him. And not only did he see him, but he spoke to him. Not only did he speak to him, but he called him by name. And not only did he just say his name, he didn't want just a quick interaction with him. He wanted to get to know him. That's who Jesus was. That's what he was doing with Zach, and everybody around was tripping. You don't know what Zach did. Zach be stealing. Zach be smoking. You don't know how Zach be treating ladies. You don't know what his Snapchat looking like. You don't know what the search history looking like. You don't know what he following on social media. You don't know what he did to mom and pops last night. You don't know his record. You don't know this stuff. He's a notorious sinner. Jesus did not care. Jesus didn't ask for his rap sheet first. Make sure he had a clean record. Make sure that he ain't cuss. Make sure that what songs do you have on your plate? Jesus didn't go there. Jesus said, there's somebody who's looking for me, and I want to connect with that. I'm going to call you by name. I'm going to invite you into an intimate moment with me inside of your house. The guy that everybody overlooked was the exact guy that Jesus focused in on. And again, he invited himself to Zach's house. Well, here's the thing. In that culture, who you ate with mattered. It's a lot like high school. I don't know about years ago, 13 years ago when I graduated high school. Shut up. 13 years ago when I graduated high school, each lunch table had their reputation. People sat at the same lunch table. People sat by the same folk. Anybody like to mess up the rules? Like, you don't like to sit in the same place. You like to sit with other people? That's how I was. But in high school, there was a table. There was the athletes table. There was the musicians table. There was the smart people's table. There was some of us who did all we could to found out C's get degrees table. You had the ethnic table. You had the all-white table. You had the all-black table. You had all these different things that was going on. Jesus, he said, hey, listen, man, I want to go to your table. I want to get your reputation. I'm not worried about your reputation. I'm not worried about what people say about you. I'm not worried about what they're going to think if they find out that you and I are in relationship to you. I'm not just going to talk to you in public. Nobody talked to Zach in public. I'm not just going to talk to you in public. I'm willing to go over to your crib where your homies go, where your girls go. I'm willing to go there and engage with you. I don't want to just know your public life. I want to know your private life. I want to get to know you in a real and tangible way. The most personal, intimate part of somebody's life being inside of their home. Jesus didn't just want the conversation. He wanted in on his actual life. Jesus didn't wait for Zach to clean up his house, to clean up his life before he asked him if he could come inside. And here's what makes this so different from people and from the world. See, the world says in order to get love, you got to earn love. Prove to me that you deserve it. If you love me, show me. Prove it. Stand 10 toes. Say no to all of them and say yes to me. And then maybe you can have my Snapchat. Right? Like in culture, we put cards, we got scorecards. How are they doing? Girl, he gave that girl a hug for a little bit too long. Girl, I seen that. Wasn't that crazy? Oh, why he walking with her to class? He usually take this way, but now he walking this way, and that takes him 2 extra minutes to get to class. We have all these scorecards that we put on people. Jesus said, listen, I'm going to love you with no strings attached. I'm going to love you because I love you, not because of what you do, not because of how you treat me. I'm going to be faithful to you even when you haven't been faithful to me. God says, I'm not going to change my character or risk my reputation on nobody. I'm good at love. I'm good at bringing people in. I'm good at loving the unlovable. I'm good at being faithful to those who are consistently unfaithful. I'm good at continuing to restore those who feel like every relationship that they've ever been in gets broken. That's why Romans chapter 5, verse 8, scripture says this, but God, he showed his great love for us by sending Christ to die for us while you and I were still sinners. Before Zach gave the apology, before Zach changed, before anything, Jesus said, I have already picked you, Zach. Jesus doesn't love you the same way that the world does. He doesn't wait for you to earn it. He gives it before you and I deserve it with no strings attached. So now how do you respond to that kind of love? Because you have to respond to it. Zach, his response was pretty crazy. Chief tax collector. Scripture said he was very rich, not just rich, very rich. Here's what scripture says. After having this encounter, after having this engagement, this one-on-one connection with Jesus, it says this in verse 8. Meanwhile, Zach stood before the Lord and he said this, I will give half my wealth to the poor, Lord. And if I have cheated people on their taxes, which we know he has, I will give them back 4 times as much. Jesus responded, salvation has come to this home today, for this man has shown. For this man has, one more time, this man has himself to be a true son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save those who are lost. Zach said, yo, this engagement that I had with Jesus, it was so cool, but I can't just let it stay a conversation. I can't just let me be loose with my words. I now have to do something with this experience that I had. I can't know about Jesus and then not make a decision about Jesus. And so Zach said this, Jesus, what do I need to do to be around you? I'll give my money away. I'll make sure that if I challenge people, if I tax people, I'm going to give them 4 times about whatever I have to do. Money doesn't own me. I'm not going to do things just living for me, trying to see how it benefits me. Jesus, what do I got to do to be on your team? And then Jesus says, salvation came to this house. Watch this. Because he has shown. A lot of people talk. Not a lot of people do the walk. Zacchaeus didn't just say that he wanted freedom. Zacchaeus went after it. Zacchaeus didn't just say, I want to get out of this situation. Zacchaeus went to the one who could get him out. Zacchaeus didn't just say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Zacchaeus said, what's my way out? I'll claw. I'll climb, I'll run ahead. I'll do what others are not willing to do, not just for the work, but for me to get to Jesus. And it's because of Zacchaeus' effort towards Jesus, who had already given him the love. It was already there on the table. But Jesus took the step towards going to Jesus. He got free, and then freedom came out of him. See, what made him crooked, what made him isolated with his job being the chief tax collector, ended up being his platform because his job didn't change. Everybody knew he's still a tax collector. Everybody knew he's still rocking with folk. Everybody knew he's still the one that's taking money. But he changed how he operated inside of that job. Oh, you still that girl from last year. You still talking with them. You still doing all that. You know what? I might be the same dude, but I promise you something different has changed inside of me. That's what Zach did. He didn't have to change everything. He changed this one thing, which then changed everything. He didn't have to experience freedom himself. He was able to find it through Jesus. He tried to do it on his own, found out money couldn't do it, power couldn't do it, status couldn't do it. But Jesus can do what nobody else can. Zach, he wasn't free because he changed his life. His life changed because he got free. You want to change your life? Say yes to Jesus. You want to smile more, experience more joy? Not an emotion, but a joy? Say yes to Jesus. You want to feel more strength whenever tough times come around you? Because life ain't always going to be sweet, whether you believe in Jesus or whether you don't. But if you don't believe in Jesus, then you got to go through them by yourself. That's your choice, not his. His choice says, I want to be by your side. I want to be a refuge. I want to be a safe place in the time of trouble. Zach realized the freedom that I was looking for, the freedom that I was trying to experience, it wasn't found a man, a bottle, a pill, a woman, a thing, a place, a status. It was only found with Jesus. See, Zach, he got free, and the cleanup was the evidence of what happened. A changed lifestyle was the evidence of his interaction with Jesus. It wasn't the entry fee. So many people have thought you got to get cleaned up before you go to Jesus. Jesus says, no. Come to me just as you are. Let me get into your life, and I know how to change some things from the inside out.